Hi everyone, Cristian King here, editor of the Express newspapers, and I am joined here today by the former member for Wollondilly, Nathaniel Smith, to get his take on this huge election we've just had. First time in 8 years. Nat Smith, as you know, was the former member, but also in a previous life was a councillor himself coming from a long, who's been in politics his whole life. So, firstly, just want to say big thank you for coming on today.
Not a problem, Christian. It's great to be here with your listeners and readers.
No, appreciate it. So, look, just to start off, you publicly endorsed Sara Moylan and her team for council,
Yep.
and votes are still being tallied. And whilst it's clear that Jesse Fitzpatrick as well as Rachel Russell have hit quota, the other candidates, including the other political parties, Labor and the Greens, have not hit quota yet. So it's going to be quite a tight race to the finish. Firstly, just wanted to ask what made you, why did you endorse Sarah as opposed to the unendorsed Liberals that were running separately on Julia Arkwright's ticket?
Well, I looked at the situation. I thought Wingecarribee needed a fresh start and not councillors from the past. I first met Sarah and was extremely impressed by her. Since we weren't running an endorsed Liberal ticket, and obviously I can't talk about internal party matters publicly, due to those reasons, I got advice off head office, and with that advice, I could help out any candidate because we weren't running endorsed Liberals. As the president, I wanted to get that clearance before I did anything. Um, and I met Sarah. I was extremely impressed by her. To get more women on the council, and she was fresh. She wasn't from any previous councils, but she was one of the best candidates in the field.
Really appreciate that. And so far, we're still awaiting the results of Barrel pre-poll. In the past 24 hours, we have had results released from declared institutions. And just to let our readers understand,
Mhm.
those situations where the Electoral Commission will go to nursing homes and other live-at facilities to cast the ballots of people there that can't make it on election day. Now, it was just shy of 100 votes that came in there, spread pretty evenly across the candidates. So it is still a bit hard to tell who will be elected at this stage. But given your broad experience across local and state government, where do you think the chips are going to land?
Well, I don't think we'll know the full lineup for the next week or two. You've got postal votes to come in. You had a lot of below the line voting that was not counted on Saturday night and has not been counted, I think, to date. So that could then skew a few percentages here and there. I think there have been a couple of Anthony Green wannabes on social media making assumptions of what the new makeup of council will be. I think they will be wrong. Um, so the quotas could change, or someone's could drop rapidly, depending on what comes through, especially with the under the line. Now, whether that's going to be done by hand, um, I've scrutineered in Senate election, which is very similar to what we have, which is an at-large election for Wingecarribee. So it's like the upper house of New South Wales or like the Senate federally. And running the office of the federal was there at the scrutineering at Xerox I think it was in Moorebank back in 2016, where we saw millions of ballot papers go through Xerox machines, the checkout, and that sort of out of that data they sort of started sorting the preferences. So it's going to take a while. It's not as simple as a lower house seat or a ward election where you've got one single ballot, which makes it a lot faster on the night. There was a process on the night when I was scrutineering at Barrel Memorial where they had to get every single ballot and fold them out first and then sort them. So it's going to take a week or two. So it's not like other councils where we have wards where it's similar to a lower house state or federal seat. and it's quick to do the preference flow. It's going to take a long time because of you've got, was it 9 groups, I believe, 60 candidates in Wingecarribee. So it's going to take a few weeks, and you may see some surprises at the end of it.
Look, couldn't agree more, and really appreciate your take on that, because right now, if anyone looks at the virtual tally room on the New South Wales Electoral Commission website, you'll see that there is currently a provisional quota. And for instance, Jesse Fitzpatrick in Group A have hit 4 times over that provisional quota. But that does not necessarily mean he will get 4 candidates from his ticket up, because as we count pre-poll that's still to come, as well as the distribution of preferences and informal votes, that could change drastically. And whilst we've called it for him in his number 2 and most likely number 3 as well, it's anyone's game for the remaining positions. So, no, it'll certainly be interesting to see, and we'll keep obviously readers updated each day as we get more results coming through. I just wanted to ask, because we have had a few readers reach out regarding you wearing a Liberal cap on election day when handing out for Sarah. Now, it's a free country. You can wear whatever clothing you wish to wear, and the Electoral Commission does not regulate people's clothing. But what were your thoughts wearing that hat, given that Sarah isn't a member of the Liberal Party?
Well, I was wearing a blue shirt like I normally wear around the place. I've got a darker blue shirt on now. I was wearing a white hat that said the word Liberal. It actually wasn't the New South Wales Liberal logo. It just said Liberal. And I was just being transparent, saying I am a member of the Liberal Party, handing out for an independent. And I think I wasn't trying to be anyone else. Everyone knew who I was, and I was just identifying that. Now, it's up to people's choice how they want to vote in the ballot box. All how to votes are, and all people handing out at polling booths are just handing out suggestions.
Thanks for that. And one thing I really wanted to ask you is, in previous elections, the Labor Party has always exceeded quota. And on this occasion, they have not. I mean, yes, we're at a provisional quota now, but they're hovering 0.8% of quota. So they're not there, and it will come down to the distribution of preferences. Given the poor turnout for Labor vote in this local government election, do you believe that is an indication for what may come next year with the federal election?
Well, I think it's right to say there's been a bit of a trend, not just in Wingecarribee, but in other areas of Western Sydney. Saw the vote down in Fairfield, Ned Manoon doing very well in Liverpool. And even though there was no Liberal candidates running in Campbelltown, they're still only hitting 6 or 7 quotas out of 15, which I found surprising. I thought that Labor would do a lot better. But as the old saying, they say, all politics is local. And it doesn't matter what the issue is. I remember when I ran for council in Kogarah in 2012, the carbon tax was a big issue at the time, and did it have much effect on the local government? Yes, to a lesser extent. Well, it affected everyone, a possible carbon tax. And we used that in some of our material, and we did very well in 2012. I think Liberals all around across New South Wales had a bumper result in that 2012 local government election. So I think with the cost of living, obviously with energy prices, the Labor brand is pretty damaged at the moment.
No worries. Really appreciate that. I must say, it reminds me of those superannuation ads, where they give the disclaimer, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. And I think that's certainly what we're seeing here in this election in Wingecarribee. Anyway, Nat Smith, really appreciate your time and your insights this afternoon, and certainly be speaking to you as we get some more results. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Cristian.